Hi, Steve.
Hey, Jim.
So, have you ever wanted to be part of something bigger than yourself? Something that's important that brings joy to a lot of people? Maybe some kind of, I don't know, community that matters?
Ooh, you mean maybe I could be president and take over and rule it?
Maybe. How about just mayor to start with? The mayor of the vinyl community.
I guess you got to start small and work up to big.
Hi, everyone, and welcome once again to Two Guys Talking About Records, a vinyl community podcast where each week we two guys get together and we talk about records. This time it's going to be about the vinyl community, which is in the name. So maybe we should talk about that once in a while, Steve.
I guess so. So people go, well, what is that about? Just in case you're just tuning in, just because go, well, what's this about?
Heck about. Well, my name is Jim and I own a record store.
And I'm Steve. I am a record collector.
And how's that going on the record collecting side? I know for those that have been watching, Steve is in the process of a big move and your vinyl's not quite caught up yet.
No, it's not. I've yet to hit a record store. I've started looking at places, and the first thought is, where is the record room? It doesn't matter about a master bedroom. It doesn't matter about a living room. It's like, where is the record room going to
You're
be?
going to start important, then work the living arrangements around that.
Yep, priorities. But I did bring in some new albums, so just through Amazon or
Well, cool. Now
wherever.
that actually is how we start each and every week because this is a vinyl community podcast and the vinyl community is about sharing our goodies. We talk about the pickups. So it's difficult because you can't play these yet. But what did you bring in this week, Steve?
That's right. Let's think, YouTube, generally you can find the whole album on YouTube,
Yep.
Spotify. So yes, I am now a record collector that keeps his records sealed and listens to them on YouTube and Spotify. And I never have to open them. I don't even know what color vinyl I have right now, but
Oh
I
no,
did.
but that'll change eventually.
Well, I don't know. This could be the new me,
Oh,
Jim. I don't
no, no,
know.
no. Meant to be played. Meant to be played.
Yes. Well, we're going to have a little glare problem on some of these. Hopefully, you can see that. This is a group called Mannequin Pussy. I have no idea why or what that came from. It's probably hard to see there. And it's I Got Heaven. This just came out this year. It is a indie rock band. It's three females and one male, and it is. Yeah, and here's the interesting thing: a lot of times you'll see these rock bands where they have one female, three males. The female plays bass. In this case, the male plays bass. So it's the exact opposite. I really like this. I stumbled upon a video and I thought, man, this is pretty good. And so I looked into this. This is the brand new album. I Got Heaven. They have they have videos out there on YouTube, but it's like she has a very good voice, but then she gets into kind of a scream type thing. So it
Hmm.
almost turns punk at times. So, you have this indie rock kind of feel going on, some nice vocal harmonies, and then she just starts wailing. And it really sounds cool. I'm pretty happy about it. So Mannequin Pussy. Uh, I had to research that name because that's
Please do.
fascinating. Then then we have this is a Detroit band, and this has had a lot of love from Vinyl Richie was one talked about it. Martin Jones, he's out of Detroit area. He knows everything there is to know about punk, and especially the Detroit scene. It is called the Stools. So here comes another quality name. All right, the Stools, and it is. Oh, hell, how do you even read that? Gee, many crickets did they make that hard to read? Are you saved? Is what's called. Are you saved?
Okay.
All right. They're using like old English lettering on there, like I can read that. Definite punk, three-piece punk band out of Detroit. They have other albums that are out there. This thing is just it's a rocker. They sound really good. Again, I've streamed it on YouTube and everything. Uh, been some just great reviews in the vinyl community about that. And I've been planning to get it. finally someone else showed it. I think a guy out of Sweden, Yanni, and I go, okay, that's it. I have to pick this up, and so I did. And this one was a used. I got off Discogs, so hey, look at that. There is actual vinyl there.
Yep, you can
very,
see it.
very good. The final one, brand new album, just came out. I pre-ordered it. The Dandy Warhols, and it is a rock maker. I like Dandy Warhols. He started in around in the 90s, mid 90s, and I haven't bought anything new from them in years. But I decided to get this nice rocking album. Opening tracks sound like they've been listening to some Gary Newman, quite honestly.
Really?
And it just overall, I like this a lot. Again, I haven't really been able to do a deep dive in listening on this, but I've been streaming it some, and I really like what I hear, and I do like the Dandy Warhol. So cool. That's my pickups this week, Jim. How about you?
Well, a light week, like I say, like light weeks occasionally, it happens. Yeah. I've got 2 pickups, one VCLT and one I'm on the fence about. So I'll toss the fence because it's a big one and I don't know what to think about it. We'll see what you think here. But first off, I do enjoy picking up some promos. This one is not a beautiful looking record by any means, but I picked up a promo copy of Billy Joel's 52nd Street. Now you can see that this is a radio station copy, pure and simple, because of the tape all around the edges. Yeah. The timing strip underneath there has got some writing on it. The back has got the promo stamp. But what I look for when I'm looking for promo issues in particular is that it is a true promo issue. And in this case, it is, because it has got that white label for the promotional side on there. So that means it is a different pressing. Now I'm usually pretty decent. If I really wanted to remove stickers and tape, I could, but with this amount on this one, I don't think I'm going to be able to successfully get that off of there, especially this type of masking tape. It really just leaves a mess. So, but again, the old radio guy in me thinks that this is kind of cool. So I do have a promo copy. I've got a promo copy of Piano Man as well. So they go together, but the Piano Man's a lot nicer looking than the cover on this one. So yeah, this was 1978.
Yeah, it's funny you showed that, Jim. Last night I was just thinking about that album. I go, I don't have a lot of Billy Joel. I don't need a lot of Billy Joel. But that was my very first Billy Joel album I ever bought. I bought it in college. And I thought, I really should get that back in my collection. It's not super expensive or anything. And so just last night I was thinking, I need to get that 52nd Street back. So there you go.
Connections here.
Yes,
there you go.
It is. We have that.
The second pickup was a Rare Earth and Ecology. I've been really getting into Rare Earth a little bit more. Again, a Michigan band at its roots. These guys, they started off on Motown, but then morphed into the Rare Earth, the label, Rare Earth Records on their own. This stuff, as you know, a lot of the older Rare Earth has got that Michigan rock feel to it. It's got some good, roots rock sounds. The Michigan sound has always been a tough one to explain because it's a little garage, it's a little punk, it's a little acid rock, especially the stuff from the late 60s and 70s. But Rare Earth really does kind of kick in that funk feel to a lot of it. And I think that's why they got along, decent when they started off on Motown and then moved into their own. But Ecology, I gave it a listen. It's a really nice looking copy. And, I don't have a lot of other Rare Earth in the collection. So I thought this one we would add into. And again, Pete Rivera, the drummer on there, little known fact, my mother went to high school with him. Down in the Detroit area in the early 60s. Still maintains kind of a Facebook contact with him on there too, but very cool stuff. And I'm getting more into the Rare Earth side of things. So
there's a good album.
It is. Now for the iffy one, this one came into the store. I haven't put it out yet. I'm really trying to decide. It's another promo copy. I'm trying to decide. This is Nirvana. Oh, wait a minute. This is the first Nirvana. How's that? Not Nirvana, but this is a band called Nirvana. Let me call up my info on this. These guys are a British psychedelic band named Nirvana. And this one is a promo issue from 1968. Discogs calls it psychedelic rock. The name of the album is The Story of Simon Sympapath. And I think I said that right, Sympapath. It's a very interesting album, and even though it says it's psych rock, it's really kind of got that late 60s British feel to it, where it's got a mixture of pop into it almost. Maybe, I don't know, if I had to compare them, and I don't normally like comparing them like that too much, but maybe a little bit of the early Kinks in this as well. It's that lighter pop sound and not that heavy guitar psych like a lot of other, especially British psych, would get into. So, but it is a promo copy, and it's in really nice shape. And I mean, the label is actually promo on here too. This is no slouch, by the way, on Discogs. We're talking in the 150 to nearly $300 range.
Wow.
On this thing. So I'm really kind of at odds because it's a promo copy and I like it. But do I need this one is the question. Now, maybe, dear viewers and listeners, you can chime in. Should this go in the Jim promo collection or not? These guys, by the way, sued Nirvana in the 90s for the name. And they did reach how did that go? I'm trying to remember the story on this. They did reach a settlement with them for use of the name. Although, it's kind of wild because how many bands have the same names or different variations of this one? I think they ended up taking them to court, and Nirvana, before Nirvana really went too far, settled, or maybe that was after they went far enough that they settled that out of court. So
kind of pop psych, you would say.
Pop psych, yeah. It's a lighter sounding. It's got some strings in it as well. Some very full. We'll put the sound sample in like we do with all of these, and hopefully this will be on. This will be on Spotify, so I can put that sound sample in there so you can check it out. But yeah, it's got some interesting stuff on there. But like I said, it's very light and poppy. So I'm not there yet with it. How's that?
Get that. Jim, I've been kind of waiting for someone to use my YouTube channel name so I could sue them. Steve, all of a sudden come up with Steve Carlson Vinyl Community. That's their channel name. And then I could take them to court.
Then you
make
could.
a lot of money off of that. Yes.
Have you trademarked that yet?
Oh, I should probably. I guess I should. Maybe that's something I'll work on this week.
Radio Wasteland could be protected. I don't know why anybody would call a store something like that, but hey, what the heck? And then finally, I had a little VCLT. We sold some records a little while back to a gentleman by the name of Tom Neville. From Neville Design. He sent me a nice little note. He's saying he got the King Crimson letters. He's a graphic designer, and he sent me some very cool stuff. I got some stickers. He sent me a little neat They Might Be Giants magnet. We've got on our cash register.
Nice.
A couple of button sets, a Zeppelin button set, and some AC/DC buttons. And he sent a flexi disc. You've seen these before, right? You know where the flexi discs are. They're that little, you would get them with either a magazine or sometimes on cereal boxes and the like. And it's called This Is Your First Rush. And so after watching our podcast and watching the channel, he knows that I'm a little bit of a Rush guy. He said, here's some Rush. And I said, I have never heard of this. This is your first Rush. Let me call it up a little bit closer here so we can see on here. It is your first Rush. So I looked it up, and it's not Rush, unfortunately. It's very cool. Thank you, Thomas, all the same. But this is a gentleman by the name of Chris Rush. He is a comedian who, and this was a promo flexi disc for his album, Your First Rush. And Chris Rush, American comedian, writer, and actor, radio personality, best known for his stand-up routines and albums, along with being a writer and editor for the satirical publication National Lampoon magazine. So he was there during National Lampoon. But thank you, Thomas, for this. It's still very cool to have. It may not be Rush, but hey, that's how it works. But
yeah,
so
very nice.
That's the pickups. But VCLT, that stands for Vinyl Community Love Train, one of the many aspects of the vinyl community that we wanted to talk about today.
Yeah.
Now, it's in our name, right? Two guys talking about records, a vinyl community podcast. And that just kind of rolls off the tongue. But we did that on purpose because you are, may I clarify this? You are a fine, upstanding, you've been referred to as the mayor of the vinyl community.
Yeah.
By several folks that I've heard of. And I don't want to say you're a big deal. You're kind of a big deal in the VC. So I thought, what the heck? Let's talk a little bit further about this. We throw that term out there. It's in the name. People have heard it. Chances are you have seen videos of the vinyl community and seen them tagged as vinyl community, but not really quite sure what that is and what that means. So, Steve, tell me, what in the heck is the vinyl community?
The vinyl community is a group of people that love record collecting. Yeah, it was really, it's, a lot of us have spent our whole life buying records by ourselves, or maybe you have one friend that you're with. But thanks to social media and YouTube, suddenly now this vinyl community connects you with people around the world. And we're talking every single country. And that's really what makes it really exciting is you meet all these other record collectors and you get a chance to converse with them, talk with them. Some you become very good friends with, opportunities to meet other record collectors. And so it truly is a community. Like any community, there's good and there's bad. But it's, to me, I spent my whole life by myself record collecting, not knowing anybody. And now I know, hundreds of people.
And it's not something that it's not like an actual organization or a website or something that you have to say, I need to be a part of this. So you sign up and you fill out a form or something or be accepted. It's just, you just are. If you're on YouTube and sometimes Facebook and some of those, and you say, I'm part of the vinyl community and you contribute and or watch, you're just a part of that.
Yeah. It just your feeds pop up on Facebook. I have people that pop up. They don't even record collect. They just watch for whatever, because I have a cat as a co-host, so they watch basically. Oh, I got a cat. Well, we'll watch that. So he does get more views.
And that's just it. You mentioned a lot of channels. There are a heck of a lot of channels out there. Now, I did find an article, and you were aware of this, but I brought that up to you. This, I think, really took off. Now, the vinyl community as kind of a loose-knit organization has been around for, maybe 10 years or so when they started popping up. Is that roughly where you think it got its
It goes back much further than that.
Oh, does it?
It
Okay.
goes back into one of the early ones was his name's he goes by Mr. Hall of Fame, Brandon. And Chance just did Chance from Concert Buddy just had a really good interview with him. He was one of the first ones, and that was around 2005, 2006.
Okay, so it's been around a little bit longer than that
Yes.
even too.
Wow.
I think things really took off though, as far as a good awareness, people really being exposed to this during the closures of 1920, 21, and through there. Found this article from Goldmine Magazine. Let me call this up here. That I think this was from 2020 actually. That asks, what is the vinyl community, and it really kind of goes through this neat little look at the history of it and shows folks that have been a part of it. Let me close this ad. We don't need to see that. Ads by Google in through there. Why the YouTube vinyl community is the music collecting's collection's heartbeat. So where do you find some of the most experienced and renowned music collectors around the globe? Right here on YouTube, right in front of you. So very a neat article by Tone Scott through here. And as I was scrolling through this and looking at some of these folks that they have got pictures of the vinyl community,
Which I know almost all of them. I watched their channels.
Lo and behold, who do we see here but the mayor of the vinyl community, Steve Carlson, showing up. Why so serious there?
Yeah. They said, you're not to smile. And Tone wrote, I know Tone Scott, through the vinyl community, and he's been very generous to me with VCLT, even concert tickets. He's a record producer, and he goes, yeah, don't smile. I go, what do you mean? I always smile. I'm serious, but yeah, I tried. I tried to do what they wanted, but yeah, it's a Zamrock album.
Holding up there. Yep. So this is a really cool article. We'll put a link to it in the description here too, talking about this, just this loose knit band of folks that have come together for the vinyl community. Now you started your channel. Oh, when the heck was that?
7 years ago. Yep.
7 years ago.
Yeah, about 6-7 years ago, I probably started this. And when I started, a couple that were starting exact same time was Dylan from Noble Records, who now has over 100,000 followers. Norman Maslow, his channel, oh, I bet you he has 40,000. Melinda Murphy started maybe a year or so later. She's at 30,000, and I'm at 3,800.
Cool.
So, but some of these people have done really, really well with this. But people like turning in. They like to see the records. Brandon, Mr. Hall of Fame, who started, again back in in the aughts. I think he has about 10,000 followers, and he's still doing it. And quite often you see people kind of come and go, because it's not the easiest thing. People go, hey, I'm just going to go do that. But you can get really discouraged too if suddenly you go, oh, no one watching this. Well, that's a bummer. And there's a lot of reasons. You have to, it does take some work.
It does. There's no shortage of channels. If you just go to the YouTube homepage and just type in Vinyl Community, you'll call up a lot of these. So again, we're seeing some ads on this. The Robert Fithin's on here. He's an interesting character.
Yes, he is.
He's a little grumpy at times, but hey, and there you are, right near the top of this. Actually, you pop in a lot of these when they're looking. So, but there's just so many folks out here doing this, and they love to show their stuff off. The Channel 33 is another big one, isn't it?
Yes,
that kicks it off in there. And it really, all it takes is just a webcam, a collection of music, and a desire, and quite frankly, just the personality to kind of kick that out there, right?
Yeah, I've been using a iPhone on mine forever. It's not the greatest on editing or anything, but I just take my iPhone, put it up, and away I go. And use the they have iMovies on there. That's how I edit it up and put it out. Very simple.
And this is, as you said earlier, it's a great way to connect with people. And it really did just start off as kind of a showcase. Hey, I love collecting. I'd like to show off, some of these records. Check out this record that I've got in a collection, or something that's unique and interesting. And that gave people with similar likes the ability just to begin sharing this back and forth.
Well, and so now what's nice is everyone collects differently. And you can find those. There's channels that just deal with thrifting. There's channels that just deal with original pressings. That's all they're after. CDs, cassettes, vinyl, 8-track channels with that. Audiophile channels are really big. If you really love that audiophile sound, or you have the stereo equipment, those are channels. There is channel like mine. I do samples, because I love watching a video that does samples, because you can hear me yak, but if you hear the music, it means more to you, and your brain's going to connect to it and go, oh, I really, really like that. Probably the biggest thing is there's the amount of channels that deal with the Beatles.
Yep.
I mean, there's a ton of Beatles channels. I don't show the Beatles because I can't offer them anything for that. And I really, that's not necessarily my wheelhouse.
Well, the ability to play the sound samples too, and this is a little behind the scenes type of thing. With YouTube, it really kind of affects whether or not you can. Some samples you can play, some you can't. As we mentioned here on the podcast, we don't include the samples because of some copyright restrictions. Mm-hmm. Don't want to get in trouble with that, but that's why we do the Spotify playlist. But you've been banned in a few countries, haven't you, based on samples?
Well, Russia and Belarus are not big, and North Korea is not big on mine.
Go figure. Nobody in the VC.
Yeah. The thing is with samples, so my channel's monetized. It took me a long time even to decide if I wanted to, but I thought, what, they throw commercials on it anyway. So, but when I do samples, I make no money off that. And if I didn't do samples, I would make money on every single video. But that's not why I'm doing this. That's zero reason. I do it because I want to share music, and that's where sample comes in. Sure, you don't make any money. That don't matter to me. I'm sharing that music, and people hear it and go, God, I like that. I want to go buy that. Or, boy, I don't like that at all. So.
And I've been tempted. Well, going back to our common friend Bill Young, the late Bill Young, when he had started this, and he told me a long time too, you should get a channel. I know he was instrumental in kind of influential for you starting a channel as well, because Bill had a lot of his psych rock stuff up when he was doing it with the Michigan Record Club. And it's always been a little odd for me to think about doing a vinyl community channel proper because I own the record store. I mean, do you see that it would feel a little weird? I know that Noble gets away with it. Um, there's a couple of other record stores that do that as well. The podcast that I do with you, I think, is a little bit different. I'm not actively promoting the sale of our records here at the store, but at the same time, for me to do something separate on my own, it just felt a little awkward. Does that make sense? Showing off, hey, check this out. This is my own channel doing this. Whereas I utilize our channel primarily as a tool for marketing for the store. So
Yeah,
it's always
and
been a
it's been
little odd
growing.
for
I
me.
mean,
Yeah.
and
Oh
it
yeah.
keeps growing and growing. Dylan from Noble Records, he has such incredible stuff that he finds. It's all that music that nobody else has ever seen. No one knows quite how he finds it, and so I think that's what brings his interest. He also started more as a record collector, and then he moved into doing, going out and had a van and doing shows, and then finally bought his own store. So he started more on the record collecting side,
Yeah.
and then moved forward with it.
Well, I did too. I mean, I started as a collector, and that's still a big part of why what I do here.
Yeah,
I sometimes will stuff. Well, this Nirvana was case in point. It came into the store. I could put it on the shelf and earn some money off of it, but what do I do here?
yeah.
So somebody
Which is
help.
why I couldn't do a record store, Jim, because there'd be empty shelves out there. And go, well, no, I kept it all because
I
that's what
kept
I wanted.
all of this stuff. So there are some terms within the vinyl community that I thought maybe we could pass along to help folks out. Maybe if you're new to it. The first being, as I mentioned, that VCLT and the great stuff I got here from Thomas. What exactly does that mean when somebody says VCLT?
Yep. The vinyl community love train, and it's just about sharing music. People sharing music. I have this cool album. I want to send it to you. Jim, you've been very generous. After my flood, yeah, hundreds of people sent me record albums. I mean, it was probably the most incredible thing I've ever seen in the VC. Quite honestly, people I didn't know suddenly sent record albums to try to help me rebuild my collection.
Yeah.
To this day, I try to send out VCLT to people. Others do that. It's a way to share our music. Not charging someone for it, or others just say, "Hey, this is really neat. I
Some
want
cool
you to
stuff.
listen to this."
Yeah,
Yeah,
try this out.
yeah, and I've made some incredible friends that we trade a lot of music back and forth, and it's just kind of a fun aspect of it.
Now, what about contests? That's another thing too. At first you're like, well, what do you mean the contest? This is not something that's organized. Is somebody giving something away? The idea of a contest is that you win. That's not always the case with the vinyl community contests.
Yeah, you know, uh, when I started, you didn't do a lot of contests. Maybe you hit 500. Okay, I'm going to do a contest. You hit 1,000. Now people are at 50. I'm doing a contest. The whole thought for a lot of folks who are doing a contest is hoping to get more subscribers,
Yep.
get more to sub to your channel. Hey, if you do this, by law, theoretically, you cannot say you need to subscribe to my channel to be able to do this. That's
Yep.
it. But it is to bring attention to it. Suddenly everyone's looking at it. Hey, this guy did this contest. There's so many of them, quite honestly. I used to enter them, but I can't. Or I would be having a video out all the time, and I try to limit myself to two. Once in a while, I'll do 3 videos in a week, and I feel guilty for that. It's like, God, I'm wasting some people's time with this if they're watching. And
So
generally, you do a third video, not that many, and there's some channels they put out a video every day, every day. And I was like, I won't watch you every day because I don't got enough time. I mean, how much time do we really have?
we're talking thousands of hours of content at that point.
Yeah, but I had my last contest. Oh, it might have been. It was a thank you contest. It was after the flood and after everything. And I thought I need to do something. I gave away some huge prizes on that one, but it was thank you, not about subs. And I had probably about 90 people, which
Wow.
is a very big contest.
And that's just people commenting to enter, or they submit a video of their own to enter.
Yeah, it's up to the person. Like on mine, I made it. If you comment, just comment, because not a lot of people don't have a channel. I says, I'm going to put you in a different drawing. You're going to be in the comment drawing.
That's cool.
Or most of the time we ask you to do a video. And so people will do it, generally a shorter video. Some go really long, and it depends on what the person wants to do. And then they'll hold a drawing. They'll have a prize. One of them, he's a guy out of Canada, Jack, and I'm trying the Vinyl Martini. His prize was, I'll donate to charity. So he had
That's
like
cool.
$50 or 50 Canadian. He says, you name the charity, and we'll make a donation in your name to that. That was really neat.
That is cool.
Yeah.
The other thing that's always kind of struck me too, and this not typically, but usually it's going to happen at the year end or the beginning of a new year. And this is the whole idea of the vinyl community tags. Now, a hashtag, again, in the parlance of social media, means you've got that little hashtag, and that allows the YouTube algorithm, or in this case, sometimes Facebook algorithm, or Twitter, whatever the case is, that little hashtag allows to separate and categorize a subject matter and allows for the algorithms to find it easier theoretically.
Yeah.
But in the vinyl community, the tag means what? You're really kind of kicking something new out.
Yeah, the tag is interesting. It's generally the most watched videos, and they also at the beginning of the year. And when it started, there was a gentleman, his name was Andrew, Tales from the Crate, which is one of my all-time favorite channels. And he would come up with this. And, he would send it out to a few of us. Hey, what do you think about these questions? And it was just one tag out there, and everyone did it. It has morphed into, there was 20 to 30 different tags this year. I mean, it's getting crazy. Everybody. In fact, I'm going to do a Zamrock tag. I think I'm just going to do that. Just there you go.
Just because
I dare.
See who else is out there
to do my tag. But it's a chance where generally what happens is there's 20 questions that are thrown out that allow you to go into your collection and show different albums that deal with this. Some can be a little difficult, some are quite easy. If you can't do it, you don't do it. But this is what I will tell anybody, and I work with a lot of new channels. They'll contact me and say, hey, how do you do this? I'd like to do videos. And one of the biggest things I will tell them is make sure you do vinyl tag. That will get you noticed. It gets out there. Everyone's seeing this. Everyone's looking for them. And it's the best way to start a channel. And we do it at the beginning of the year. There's a main one that happens right now. Rob Walker, he's out of England. He's been doing them and coming up with the questions for these. But it's all over. There was Beatles, there's punk, there's jazz, there's Stand on Your Head. It's gone insane. I'm going to do one. That's it. I can't try to do all.
Well, and that's because it gets very intensive as well, because the idea is that when the tag is put out there, you answer it by the creation of a video that addresses that tag by pulling from your collection, as you said, to showcase things that matched what that tag started off with.
Yes. And so when you try to do all these other ones, and I also have it basically, I'll watch the videos that deal with the one that I did. But again, I spend 2 to 3 hours maximum a day watching vinyl community videos. That's generally a beginning part of my day, but that's it. And I have certain channels that I will always watch, like Radio Wasteland, but there's certain people, and I kind of choose them because I comment and they comment back. And some of them have become so big that they don't comment back anymore. And I'll watch them once in a while, but I do it because I want the communication. I want to chat with people, and it just may be, man, that's a great album. I love this one. It does. I'm not very philosophical, but that's the aspect I like. And if someone, even if it's a new channel, they don't want to comment back, you know what? If you don't want to be, interested in the other person or learn more, I'm just going to move on.
I feel kind of bad now because the Radio Wasteland channel, we are monetized as well. We've grown over that 1,000 mark. I think I'm at like 1,600 or something like that. And with everything else going on, I do find it difficult to answer a lot of comments. And
Yeah.
we don't get a ton. We don't get a ton of them on the channel, but I do what I can. Sometimes they get by me because I'm watching 3 other social media things at the same time that are directly store related. So I feel bad. So folks, if you're commenting on something and I don't answer, sometimes Steve picks up the slack on that with the, especially with the two guys stuff going on. But it can be tough to keep up, and that's just kind of a normal daily thing of life, I think.
Yeah, on some of my videos, I will spend 3 to 4 hours comments,
Wow.
because it just takes me that long to keep up with them. Because I just don't want thank you or something like that. I want to
Thumbs
chat.
up.
Yeah, thumbs up, love. I give you a heart.
Well, it's a good thing
Yay.
you're retired. Good
You
thing
know,
you're retired. You got all this
did you
time.
really mean that, or is that the only icon you could hit?
Oh man.
Uh, I if someone writes to me, I am going to write back. If they write back again, I try to answer back. But that's where it's helped, especially with new channels. I've been able to, I put my email address in my description, and they'll ask me questions. What do I need to do, or how would you do this? And then I'm going to champion. I'm going to be watching them. I'm going to call them out. I'm going to say what we call shout outs. So the
Yep.
shout outs, we shout out a channel. It says, hey, we do this. Even, oftentimes I'll shout out Radio Wasteland. Why? I bought this cool album there. I got this neat stuff from there. So I want to shout it out because it's important that people know this is where I got it.
The flip side of this, and this I think is just an unfortunate societal issue that goes beyond just YouTube and the vinyl community. It's deeply embedded into social media, and that's the fact that regardless, and I think the bigger you get with this, the more likely you're going to facilitate or pull out some negative reactions from people. And I know that there have been some vinyl community channels where they'll put out a video to directly address the haters, as they call them.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's unfortunate, but I think that's just kind of a given that you're going to have people that are going to be pissy about whatever they see or hear, and they're going to court any kind of negative response because they feed off of that.
And the live streams, which have taken off, when I started, there wasn't live streams. You rarely did it. Now, quite a few people do live streams, and that really can facilitate, shall we say, drama. And a lot of people, and people feed off drama. There's a lot of folks that it energizes them. If I can create that, oh my God, I'm having a great day. Now everyone's mad. And I've seen some channels that have started on live stream. Their whole purpose is to create drama. And well, I'm going to ignore those because even if I'm watching and it starts going that way, I'm going to turn it off because I'm here to enjoy myself. And I get drama at work. You get drama at work. I mean, why would I want to turn into something and have more drama? That's not my thing. And I've had some negative comments. I rarely get them though. I have to say, and if I do, I will answer them. I will do it in a polite way. I will thank them for their comment. I will thank them for their opinion. I had one I did on the Velvet Underground, and he just ripped into me. You don't know your facts. And I says, well, here's the book I used, and here's the page number that I took.
You came with receipts.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there it is. That's where I got that. But I really appreciate your thoughts on that. So
I've done that too. A few pop up here and there, especially on some of the Wasteland stuff. And I said, thanks for watching. Thanks for the click. Thank you.
Yeah. It's like you did take time to watch. You may not like it, but you took time to watch. And I don't, none of that. That just rolls off my back. Yeah. So you know what?
You cannot let it consume you, regardless.
But I've had very few, Jim. But I know some other channels. They have a lot trolls is what we call them, right?
Yep.
The trolls out there that just anytime they're on something, they're finding them and just coming at them. And I don't understand it. I don't.
It's unfortunate, but I think that given the way that we connect with each other nowadays, where there's there's no very one-on-one responsibility for what you say or do. You think you can get away with it, but
It
we're
is
not here to
social
gripe
media.
about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
social media. It's just the way it is. It's just that's society now, and
Yep.
it's our way of doing that, and you have to accept it.
Yep. Now that I don't think should dissuade someone. If somebody wants to become a part of the vinyl community, more of a, you know, I think a lot of people are just going to be passive viewers. They're going to watch the content
Mhm.
and
Yes.
enjoy the content. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. That's what makes a lot of these channels popular. What has, those that have thousands and thousands of subscribers is the fact that there are people enjoying that content. But it's actually fairly easy to be a creator,
Yeah.
especially with YouTube nowadays.
It's very easy because even I can do it. Even a grandpa can do it. But
Now. The
oh,
mayor sells himself short.
yeah, yeah, it is, and yeah, if you want to me, if you want a successful channel, though, you do have to put the work in.
Yep.
Before I do a video, honestly, I put, I listen to every album again. I'll spend anywhere from 3 to 5 hours researching and listening. Then it'll take me another half hour with the samples. Then you got to put it together and edit it, but it's how I do it. Now, there's some folks, what? They just get it. I bought this, and they show the album. I got this album. Oh, I got this album. That's fine. That's how they want to do it. I try to put more into it, but then the other part is, again, I try to spend 2 to 3 hours to watch someone else and comment on their video.
Yep.
I would say 75% of the people that comment on mine, I generally get quite a few. They don't have channels. They just tune in, and we become, shall we say, virtual friends.
Yep.
And I look forward every week hearing from them, and every week they're there, and and some of them are funnier than all get out. I mean, I kind of wish I would just give them. Here's what I'm going to be talking about. Give me a script because they're hilarious.
I'll use my channel, but I think consistency also. I mean, you're tremendously consistent. The Sunday show, the early Sunday show that you do each and every week is very consistent in its timing. It's very consistent in how and what you show and the way you do that. And I found that here too. We've had plenty of conversations about that, as we were trying to grow the channel here for the store. I regularly do a Saturday update, which is just kind of updating. So I regularly do the Friday vinyl drop. And I think people grow very accustomed to that consistency, that continuity. And once you have that and you're able to create that on a regular basis, then that's what helps, I think, facilitate growth of a channel and popularity of a channel.
Yeah, I will agree with that 100%. Every Sunday at 5 o'clock in the morning, it's going to be the early morning Sunday show, and I seriously record it very early. But now you know what? It might be 5 a.m. on a Saturday. It is 5 or 6 or 4 a.m. because that's
Early
when I
morning.
get up. That way I can edit it and put in my samples. But I try to be extremely consistent because it's kind of in my DNA. And so I don't blow it off. I don't forget. Here's when I do it. On Thursday, I'll put out a second one. It's going to come out at 6 o'clock. It just will. And, that's more of a record store tours or other things. I did the Third Man thing for the last 3 weeks,
Very
Third Man
cool.
record tours. So, that allows me maybe a contest or something. But when people, you're really sporadic, people move on. They just do. But if they know, okay, it's going to be on. Now, my content hasn't changed in 7 years, and many people think, okay, we're going to do a reboot. We're going to try something new, try something different. I'm not smart enough.
Well, we rebooted the podcast.
Yes, we did reboot the podcast. That's true. But we had to.
We did. And quite frankly, the content hasn't changed. And you talk about consistency now. I mean, we're at episode 55. I think over the past year, we've only missed 1 week or something, but that was because it was a holiday and we were both traveling. But other than that, I mean, that's the consistency pays off here. And again, thanks to everybody who's subscribing and watching on YouTube and watching and listening on Spotify. That's very cool. I'm humbled by the numbers that we're starting to show on this.
It is, and it's definitely been growing bigger and bigger. On YouTube, you see more and more chiming in. It's nice to see the comments when we put up the video. Now you see more comments coming in on that, and but there is that consistency. Sunday night, two guys talking about records going to come in, and people want that. That you plan it. It's going to happen.
So did we tick off anybody in the vinyl community by calling this a vinyl community podcast, or we just ride? Am I riding the coattails with this?
It's the way to do it, man.
That's all right.
Hashtag
two guys. But I'm having fun with this, and quite frankly, this. I'm going to go back here. It's odd for me because where am I going to go with this, Steve? I don't want to talk about my more classical training in audio and video. I go back a long way. We're talking into the 80s with editing audio and video. I was there at the onset of the digital revolution with audio and video, and I learned how to do that early on in my career, and I carried through. I taught, for crying out loud, for a decade and a half audio and video. So the advent of YouTube was a difficult one for me because a lot of what was on here and a lot of what we see, like with the VC channels, breaks the rules that I was not only taught, but the rules that I taught in turn of the way that you shoot, the way that you edit, the way that you present. And social media blew all that out of the water. And I still find it difficult, when I do videos for the record store. It's like, I cannot do a jump cut. I have to have B-roll or an image that covers something up. I just have to, because that's in my DNA. Yeah. And it's tough because the bigger channels, even now with these shorts, these are ridiculous, but the old rules don't apply anymore. And that's been the toughest part for me. And maybe that's why I haven't completely embraced being a vinyl community creator in and of myself.
Yeah, well, because you're expecting more. You're expecting, I need to do this. Well, you got some schmo like me that comes on and just turns on just turns on his phone and go, there we go. Am I centered? I know, it don't matter. Here we go, baby.
Thousands of views, and here sits Jim with a master's degree in communications. No, I'm not. I am by not any means complaining about that, because I think that it's personality that drives a lot of this. And your channel, you've got this just a very friendly and outward personality that brings people in. And I'm happy to be here talking with you about stuff, because you bring some credibility.
Oh boy.
Oh, are we in trouble?
There is, you do have to have, no one wants to watch something and fall asleep, and as I start blabbing, the stuff that comes out sometimes, I just listen to today's broadcast, I go, yeah, I said that, huh? Okay, well, there you go. And so there is that part of it, but it's nice that anybody can really do this. It's just, you do have to. It's not having a shtick, because personally, I don't have a shtick. It's just my personality. Yeah, it's just, that's, anybody that meets me, they're going to say, oh God, you're just like that. Yeah, I am.
You are. I'll attest.
Yeah, you know that, because every Sunday there's Steve in my record store again.
Yep. Well, it has been, the vinyl community is something, I think it's going to be there for a while. I don't see that diminishing. Even if the popularity of vinyl begins to wane. We'll talk about that. I ran across a couple of other articles I want to talk in future episodes, but specifically regarding streaming, I think that I was going to bring it up as a news item, but I think it deserves its own episode, and talking about how stuff is owned. We'll talk about that behind the scenes and come up with something. But
yeah, I think that would be interesting, because things have changed a lot, and this seems to be where, and people have asked me, hey, are you going to stream? I go, I don't think I could. I don't think that's me necessarily, but I think that'd be a very interesting episode.
Regardless, though, the vinyl community is here to stay, and all you have to do is just type in a search for vinyl community, and you'll pop up just hundreds and hundreds of videos of folks showing their stuff off, and they're proud to do it. They want to share their love, and that's really what that's all about.
And here's the thing, folks, with the vinyl community, it's very expensive. Not to watch, but
because
I swear, I have spent more on records than I ever would have. Before all this, I was before I even knew there's other record collectors, I was buying books. I was buying signed autograph editions of books and stuff like that. Very happy. And then I began watching this. Well, God, I want to do this. I mean, because music has always been my passion. And so, but everyone's showing you this stuff, and you go, man, I need that, or I love that. And you wind up buying a whole lot more. And the biggest trap I see people going into is, they're doing this video and they go, I need to go out and buy something to show. I need to get this because that would be really cool to show. And you have to kind of, you don't want to do that, because I've seen some channels have gotten themselves into a lot of trouble financially.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's one gentleman, he had all these boxed, he hadn't even unboxed them all. He was just buying. And so you have to be careful, because you have this passion for music and you want to try to get all this stuff. Believe me, I have that. And so I have to back myself off. And I still, do I buy a lot? Yeah. Do I buy too much? Probably. But it's not hurting me financially. It's just that I could be going to Europe maybe instead of having a bigger record room.
Just like with any hobby that you want to try to keep it at that hobby level without becoming an obsession that harms you in ways that make it so you can't enjoy the hobby.
Exactly. I put a budget out there. Now it's just budget by word only.
Yeah.
Because then honestly, folks, I'll go into gyms and he'll have this like Grail kind of record, and well, budget be damned. If I don't buy that, I'll never see it again. And there is that out there, and that happens a lot.
So where do you folks stand? Are you an avid viewer of vinyl community content on YouTube and or other social media forums? What are some of your favorite channels? I mean, obviously, you're going to put Steve Carlson's vinyl community channel down there as a favorite, but let us know in the comments. You can comment. I think there's one question allowed on Spotify, but the YouTube side of things you can comment on there. And as always, you can visit our Facebook page. Just search for Two Guys Talking About Records, and you can interact with us there. We're putting these things up. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple. We're sharing it on YouTube. So there's lots of places to hook up with us. And
we're on Apple now?
Yeah, we are. I meant to tell you that. I believe we are on Apple Podcasts now.
Okay. See, Jim's in charge of. Jim is so nice to me. He just goes, that guy can probably. We're just happy he's able to get his computer turned on.
Yeah. Steve, show up and talk.
That's right.
No, it's a lot more than that. So, but it's been fun as always. Now, next week, if the schedule holds up correctly, you are going to be back in store.
I will be back in store. We have to figure out how that's going to work.
We can't go back to audio, so we'll make the video work in some way, shape, or form. But it should be an interesting conversation. But until then, we hope you folks have a great week and get out there, do some spinning of your vinyl, enjoy some vinyl community programs and content, but mostly just enjoy yourself.
Exactly.
All right. Have a great week, Steve. Thanks.
Thank you, Jim. See you next week. For real.
For real.
Yes. Bye.